Hi, this is Matthew Weatherby, Vegan of Power, and today I wanted to talk about extremism, divisiveness. So, I notice when somebody gets a lot of popularity, a lot of exposure to veganism, everybody lines up behind them and backs them up and stands behind them regardless of how they conduct themselves. And I can understand that. Unity's good. Unity's powerful. But what's funny is these same people will attack any other vegan that may point out legitimate criticisms of the same person. Like, I think that the vegan atheist is way too black and white about things and way too extreme, but I do like his appeal to logic. And when he made those 2 videos on vegan gains, I thought he pointed out a really good concrete case. But like, he gets all these dislikes and there's all these vegans underneath yelling at him. And I don't know, I thought his point was good. You know, like, I think Vegan Gains has done a lot of bad things in order to grow his channel super fast. And that would be fine if he was like a comedy channel or an entertainment channel. But as an education channel and as a representative of veganism, he kind of sends out that message that vegans are super extremists, they're wacky, they're cultish, the kind of people you don't want to be associated with. It's something you need to remember, that all these people out there that you love, your friends and family that aren't vegan, think about them. Think about what they're like. Do you really think of them as horrible, wicked barbarians that should just perish and be thrown to the wolves? Because that's how some vegans make things sound when they start getting really extreme. The stuff that's going on out there is bad, and it makes sense that there's passions and that there's extreme emotional reactions. I mean, if you see some of these videos, you're like, oh my gosh, that's insane. So that makes sense. But 2 things that are really good in living a successful life is, 1, see the world as it actually is, how it actually works, and 2, adapt accordingly. So if the world is a way that you don't want it to be, then figure out how it works, what influences people, what could cause change, and then try to behave accordingly. If you know that straight up confrontation, condemnation, telling people they're wrong just stirs an attitude of rebellion and defiance and doesn't accomplish your purpose, but you want change to occur, then that probably isn't the way you should go about it. I know it's hard to try to always do things correctly or do things in a way that makes sense. I make stupid, dumb mistakes all the time. I misconduct myself all the time. But I'm just saying, like, especially if you're trying to make a big channel that already has over 100,000 subscribers, maybe you should think of yourself as a representative of something greater than yourself. and maybe conduct yourself accordingly. I don't think you should be an oversensitive little sissy that just walks on eggshells. We have too much of that. It's nice to see some conviction and some confidence and some actual pizzazz or whatever you want to call it. But you gotta not go overboard, you know, like start talking about crushing babies' heads into bloody pulps because they irritate you so much. It's okay to hold opinions like that, and it's okay maybe even to share them at the right time with the right people, but you don't really want to make a public video on YouTube like that. I mean, people could know that maybe you're exaggerating, you're not actually going to go do that or anything, but it's not a good way to represent something. So I don't know, like making fun of people because they get cancer, that's kind of crossing a line, you know? Like, I can understand like a majority of the world eats meat and only a small percentage of us are vegans, and we feel like we're getting attacked and ridiculed and picked on all the time. So maybe it's a natural inclination to lash back. And then, you know, you see all the stuff that the industries are doing to the creatures, where it's just so detached and so cruel and stuff. That stirs a lot up inside you too. So I understand where stuff's coming from. I'm just saying I don't think it's the best way to go about things. So I don't know. It's easier to pick things apart and criticize than it is to be creative and come up with better solutions. And it always irritates me when people just sit back and criticize and they don't offer better solutions of their own. So I suggest maybe reading some books on like human psychology, persuasion. There's a good one, what is it? Psychology, the Power of Influence. I think it's The Power of Influence. That one shows like 6 of our cognitive biases. That will get you to understand the human mind a little better. And then there's also an old school book written in the 30s called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It'll give you a better understanding of human nature. And so if you can just start educating yourself, learning how humans actually work, and caring about people, seeing people as animals. I know there's 7 billion of us now, even more than that. And that we've done a lot of damage, so it's easy to be frustrated at our own species, to detach from them and not want to be a part of them, and not respect them the same way you may respect other animals, because you think they're like a virus, like they said in the Matrix. But humans are animals too. Like, you may see the human population and be sickened and angry, but then think about when you're spending time with a specific human one-on-one, how different it is. There's a lot inside all those heads and stuff. I don't know. It's if you look at all the other people around you through eyes of hate, it poisons your view of humanity. It poisons your view of the world. It really diminishes your own experience on this planet. So I think trying to educate yourself, trying to understand the world around you is a good path to take, because your choice to not contribute to the suffering to all these animals, to not contribute to the destruction of our ecology, is a good choice. And I can understand why you made it and why you're trying to persuade others to join you. But I just think you should go about that in a way where it will actually work, instead of making people think that vegans are lunatics and wanting nothing to do with us. So that's my point. Just think about that.